The Coyote Twin, Vermilion's downtown theater. Providing entertainment Thursdays through Sundays.
Coming up, Health Sciences opened a new facility.
But have you seen the inside?
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hannah, do you remember?
Remember what?
The 21st night of September. The time is 5 o'clock. I'm Michael Stake.
And I'm Hannah Gokenauer. Later, get a look at the First Facility Art Gallery. But first,
An equipment failure caused students, faculty, and staff to experience a campus-wide networking issue. The internet completely shut down earlier this afternoon, but was restored shortly before 3. The university website is intermittent as well, which is also causing problems for D2L. The USD Instagram page shared a note from the ITS service desk saying they're working on solving the issue.
USD has record-breaking enrollment in several areas. First-time, first-year undergraduate enrollment increased by 7.7%. The College of Fine Arts is leading the way with over 43% growth in the last year. Across all of South Dakota's public universities, there's a 0.7% enrollment increase. USD has the largest growth compared to other BOR universities.
Last week, citizens for the new Public Safety Center held a question and answer forum about a bond that will be on the November 8th ballot. In August, the county commissioners unanimously passed the resolution saying the county will pay for the new center if approved by the voters. The center will host the jail, police department, sheriff's department, 911 call center, and the Clay County Emergency Management Office. The current budget for the center is about $42 million. This isn't the first time the bond will be on the ballot. Last year, voters voted it down.
The new School of Health Sciences building opened its doors to the public after a ribbon-cutting ceremony. People can now walk around freely in a cutting-edge facility. Coyote News' Stain Witkins has more on what the new building has to offer.
The USD Medical School welcomes its newest addition, the Health Science Building. The 3-story building covers 45,000 square foot that's connected to the existing medical school. On the first floor, you'll find the Delta Dental Oral Health Center. The second floor consists of nursing facilities, including rooms filled with nursing beds and medical equipment. Physician assistant Wade Nilsson explains some interesting features of the new room.
So in each room, there's the clock system that you mentioned is there so that we can synchronize every single room. And if you're going to do a simulation, you can make sure that you start and stop them at the exact same times across all 5 rooms when you're doing doing a simulation activity.
According to Wade Nelson, clinical exam rooms give nursing students the chance to practice for physical exams and hone procedural skills such as casting and splinting. The building also has new classrooms where some of them can even host over 50 students. A student lounge is also available. Reporting for Coyote News, I'm Stan Winkles.
Alongside the clocks, most rooms also have cameras and microphones that can record each of the students' encounters.
Some students may not know that Student Health provides discounted and free services. All USD students are eligible to use the services. Sanford Vermilion Medical Center offers office visits, allergy immunizations, STD testing, labs, and physicals. Students must show their Coyote card when using Student Health services. Call the number on your screen to schedule an appointment. Coming up, a few new beverages made their debut at the football game.
In a world where embracing your identity is a privilege not usually given to the members of the LGBTQIA+ community,
the University of South Dakota Spectrum provides community and education for young queer scholars.
sexuality and identity are defined on spectrums.
And having a community of open-minded, inclusive peers provides safety. Spectrum is one reason all Coyotes can call the University of South Dakota their home.
This is Coyote News.
USD Women in Philanthropy chooses a new initiative each year for their fundraising event. The initiative this year is Charlie's Career Closet. The program provides students with access to business attire for job interviews. The closet also offers resume help, mock interviews, and mentorships. Other initiatives the group chose include Coyote Beginnings Fund and the USD Knutson School of Law Women Leaders Speaker Series. The USD Women's in Philanthropy's 4th annual event is this Saturday.
Alcohol made its football debut at last weekend's game. Sodexo provides not only USD's food, but alcohol as well. USD Athletics' Jaron Duffy says that other options were considered, but ultimately USD landed on Sodexo.
The beginning of the process when we switched from actually Airmark was our provider last year for concessions to Sodexo this year. There was a process there where others were considered, and Sodexo was the one that ended up getting that, and that was across the board there. So South Dakota State also has Sodexo, for example.
Duffy says that no other providers will receive offers at this time. Sodexo will remain the sole alcohol provider for the foreseeable future.
At the end of last year, the Assistant Dean of Student Services position reopened. Katie Fitzgerald has now filled that spot. Coyote News' Callie Connors is live in the muck to find out more about how this change has affected housing. Callie?
Thanks, Hannah. I'm here with Travis Hill, the Residence Hall Director for Burgess and Norton. So, Travis, you've been the Burgess Norton Hall Director for 2 years now. How have you enjoyed your time in this position so far?
I really love enjoying my interaction with the students, especially not just in my building, but anyone that lives across campus. It pretty much is a great way for us to build community with students, especially for those who are first-year students or particularly new to USC, so it's been a great time.
There have been some staff changes in housing recently. Can you talk a little bit about who is now in what position and how that transition has been?
Yeah, so as of right now, Kate Fitzgerald is the interim associate dean of students right now. So as of right now, Cody Bergrath, who was our current assistant director of housing, is now our new interim director of housing, and Kat Smith, who is the current hall director for Richardson Olson Hall, is acting as the interim assistant director of housing right now. And we did have a hall director started over the summer. Their name is Gretchen. They are the new hall director for BD Mickelson right now, and as of today, we do have a vacant position right now for Kyle Village / McFadden Hall right now.
So some students have been living in the residence hall lounges this semester. What's the plan for getting those students out and into dorm rooms?
So as we see this year, we had an increase in enrollment across all campus, especially in housing. So we are slowly trying to put people into rooms when spaces are available open. As of right now, we started out with up to 6 people in the lounge at the beginning of the semester, but as of right now, we're down to about 3 to 4 on most of the lounges right now. But the plan is in the spring semester is to reopen Richardson's second and first floor, because as of right now, they're down due to renovations and all that. So our plan is to move those students from those lounges into those spaces, hopefully by the end of the semester or the beginning of spring semester.
Do you know, will any more housing options open up in the future?
As of right now, there hasn't been any plans discussed about opening a new residence hall, but as of right now, the plan is to continue to do renovation throughout all the halls in North Complex. So as of next academic year, Olson Hall, all 4 floors will go down. So as of right now, there has been discussion for more housing options off campus in the future, but as of right now, we don't have an answer yet.
Travis, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Callie.
Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Callie Connors.
Thanks, Callie. Cody Bergrath is now in Fitzgerald's former director of housing's position.
The John A. Day Gallery opens its door to non-student artists. The exhibit allows those that teach to show off their skills. Typically, art showcased in the gallery is created by students. However, the exhibit, In the House, displays faculty and staff art. The assistant art professor, James Quigley, says the exhibit is important because students don't get to see what their professors can do.
In fact, I make a point of not showing them my work in many cases because I don't want them to be influenced unduly by what I make. Because sometimes students will see how you do it and try to make it look like your stuff, so maybe you'll give them a better grade or something like that. And so I show them nothing.
Faculty members also got a glimpse at what their colleagues can create. Quigley says that he often doesn't get to see his coworkers' art. Gallery director Amy Phil says there may be other faculty and staff exhibits in the future. And the house is open to the public until next Wednesday.
Deadlines for study abroad trips are fast approaching. Some direct programs for the spring include Germany, Netherlands, and Belgium. Faculty-led programs for spring break are in New York City and Georgia. The deadline for spring is October 15th, and the deadline for spring break is December 14th. Students can go abroad for internships, research, service, practicum, or a combination of all. Next on Coyote Sports, the football team takes its first win of the season.
And the volleyball team finishes its non-conference schedule strong.
This is Coyote News.
This is Coyote Sports. I'm Landon DeBoer.
And I'm Carly Phillips.
The Coyote football team will host Missouri Valley Conference rival and #1 ranked NDSU this weekend. They'll try to follow their win against the Cal Poly Mustangs last weekend. The USD offense started the game out hot with a 75-yard touchdown run from quarterback Carson Camp on their first drive of the game. On the very next possession, Coyote defender Miles Harden forces a fumble, which was quickly recovered by the defense. The defensive play led to more scoring for USD as Camp steps up and delivers a strike to Wesley Eliodor for the 40-yard touchdown, and the Coyotes led 14-0. The Coyotes led 21-7 after the first quarter as Camp dumps a pass off to Shomari Lawrence, who takes it 46 yards to the house. The scoring would stall for both teams until the fourth quarter when Camp threw his third and final touchdown of the game, this time to Jack Martins for a 70-yard catch and run. This would be all the Coyotes needed, and Cal Poly would put up 2 scores in the fourth quarter, but it was too little too late as the Coyotes would win 38-21. Camp led the game with 4 total touchdowns and a combined 400 yards through the air and on the ground.
Following his performance, Camp was named a co-national performer of the week by the College Football Performance Awards. Camp's teammate Alex Jensen also earned weekly honors, being named the Missouri Valley Football Conference Offensive Lineman of the Week after grading 95% and helping his team gain 560 yards on the day. Coyote News' Sydney Funderman is live in the muck with Coyote Athletics announcer John Thayer to talk about the football team's recent change in play calling. Sydney?
Thanks, Carly. So, John, the offense saw some new changes this last weekend's game. How tough is it to make a switch like this at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think it was an adjustment, leading up to the Cal Poly game. There were a lot of adjustments that had to be made. You go from an offensive coordinator who's deciding on the plays and signaling that into the offense to all of a sudden Coach Nielsen calling the plays, talking about them on the headsets, and then somebody else signaling the plays. So I think they made some adjustments, simplified some things, tried to not be so creative with the playbook, make it simple, and just be able to move forward. So I think everybody adapted well, and we saw the result on Saturday.
What should we expect to see against NDSU in future games coming up?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see a team that continues to try to execute at a high level, right? At the end of the day, no matter what play is called, you got to execute at a high level. You got to complete some of the passes, get some of those run games. I think you're going to see this offense establish the run a little bit more. They want that to be kind of the bread and butter. If they can establish the run game, it's going to open up that pass game.
And after watching Nielsen lead the offense, is there any cause for concerns that you might have?
No, I think what's great is Coach Nielsen, he hasn't called a full game since he was at Minnesota Duluth. It's been a decade, but the old ball coach got the play calling sheet out, dusted off, got the rust knocked off a little bit, and I think you'll see him continue to work more with Carson Camp on some plays that are going to help this offense get downfield.
And it seemed like the offense might have been a little bit more in sync at this last game. Do you think Nielsen played a part in that?
I do. I think simplifying the offense a little bit factored into that. I think they tried to establish the run. They tried to get some short passes going to get some confidence for Carson Camp, who's missed on some throws this year. So you saw a little bit of that, and I think we'll continue to see that. Short passes ultimately will set up the deep pass, and you just got to build confidence. And that's the goal for this group right now, is to keep building the confidence on offense, because this is a tough league, right? They're going to play some really good defenses, especially on Saturday.
Well, thank you so much for coming, John.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Live in the muck for Coyote Sports, I'm Sydney Funderman.
Thanks, Sydney. We'll see how the rest of the season pans out for the Coyote offense. The Coyote volleyball team will host Summit League rival Omaha tomorrow night at the SCSC as they'll try to add to their 11-game winning streak, 3 of which came at the Bulls Invitational in Tampa Bay last weekend. In their first game of the Invitational, the Coyotes dropped their only set of the tournament against the Stetson Hatters, winning 3-1. Elizabeth Junkie led the team with 20 kills and tallied 13 digs. In Game 2, USD played the Cornell Big Red, winning in straight sets. Brooklyn Schramm had a match high of 35 assists. Game 3 saw the Coyotes match up against the host of the tournament, the University of South Florida Bulls. USD would also claim this game in 3 sets with Lola Weideman's 19 digs and Madison Harms's 5 blocks leading the way.
After her 54 kills, 31 digs, and 10 blocks over the 3 games in Tampa Bay, Elizabeth Junkie was named the Summit League Volleyball Offensive Peak Performer of the Week for the 3rd time this season. The 4th-year junior contributed match-high kills in the games the team played last weekend, and Junkie has now received this honor 9 times in her career. Murga Gameda also earned Summit League honors after his race at the Indiana Coaching Tree Invitational last weekend. Gameda clocked a personal best in the 8,000-meter race and finished 17th at the Invite, leading the Coyote men to a 9th place finish. The women finished 12th at the Invite, with Abby Ripperda finishing 27th and Abrielle Gierley finishing in 42nd place. The cross-country teams raced against nationally ranked schools at the Invitational, and their next race will be at the Gans Creek Classic in Columbia, Missouri on September 30th.
It will also be a week and a half before the tennis team competes at the Colorado State Invite. They look to continue their winning ways after posting a winning record at this weekend's Gopher Invitational in Minneapolis. The Coyotes finished the weekend 14-9 in singles and 9-11 in doubles. Over the 3-day tournament, 7 USD players finished with a 2-1 singles record. USD's competition included Minnesota from the Big Ten and Marquette from the Big East, providing stiff competition to begin the season. That's all for Coyote Sports.
When we come back, students share their guilty pleasures. Stay with us.
Hey, you want to answer a quick question for Coyote News?
Huh? What's the question?
It's about roommates. It'll only take a second.
I don't know.
Come on. All you have to do is talk to me. What's the weirdest thing that you found your roommate doing?
One time I came home from class and she was clipping her toenails on my bed. That was weird and gross.
Hey, look, it's you.
It was weird and gross.
No way!
This is Coyote News.
We all have that one thing that makes us happy, but we feel a little guilty about.
Guilty pleasures are usually things we like to keep a secret.
But this week, students let us in on their guilty pleasures.
My guilty pleasure would be like going to take a half-hour nap, and then it's turning into like a 4-hour nap at that point.
Pop-Tarts, because I'm very lactose intolerant. They're the only thing I can eat.
I think Culver's.
Listening to Celine Dion. I just love her voice.
My guilty pleasure is probably like picking at acne scars or just popping acne, even though you're not supposed to.
Playing Mario Kart. Why? Because I like it. I'm good at it.
Legos are still fun to build.
I'd say young adult novels just because they're really mindlessly fun.
Listening to country music, it brings out my inner cowboy.
Yeah, space. I love space.
I love pickle juice. I just drink it out the cup, so.
Nice cold shower.
Probably singing the national anthem in the shower.
The show Bubble Guppies, because it has a nice theme song.
Watching High School Musical.
I'm kind of lame, so I don't got much.
A guilty pleasure of mine is right before bed. I have a jar of peanuts and milk chocolate chips, and I like to gobble them before going to sleep.
Well, I'd have to say my guilty pleasure is probably rewatching Doctor Who for the 16th time as of now. I know. As we heard earlier, alcohol was just sold at the football game this past weekend. Those 21 or older were allowed to purchase a beer if they wanted.
In this week's poll, we asked our followers if they bought a beer. Hannah, how many do you think purchased a beer?
I would have to say a lot of fans.
And it looks like more of the voters did buy a beer than not.
Well, I figured.
Follow our Twitter page at USD Coyote News to take part in our weekly polls. The FDA made an official statement following a recent social media challenge deemed simply NyQuil chicken. The challenge consists of marinating chicken in the cough medicine, cooking it, and then eating it. The FDA says this challenge is silly and unappetizing, since boiling the medication can change its properties. Even if it isn't ingested, the vapors can cause a high amount of drugs to enter your body, which could be lethal. That's all for Coyote News.
Check out the Volant online for the latest SGA news.
Listen to 91.1 for news updates throughout the week and for coverage of USD sports.
Don't forget to follow our social media pages. Tomorrow we'll be live tweeting the President's State of the University address. Have a great night.